everything has a point of origin.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives me a breakup. So look how pretty the colors vary in the different.
Yes.
And otherwise, there would be no reason for that. That doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. So as you're doing the sketches, then the vantage points become clearer as to where the lines come in?
Yeah.
So that's kind of after the sketch, right?
I put all the pieces in like this.
Right.
And then I find the vantage points from there.
I see.
So you have the beams from the lighthouse, give
Yes.
the vantage point here.
And so the vantage points come in after the sketch and before the color.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because you have to see how the colors change within the
Oh, yes, 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 yes.
So there are no two colors side by side.
And there's no, it's almost like stained glass.
Yeah, that's what everybody sees.
Do you see that? Or do you just see?
Well, I looked at a lot of stained glass as a child. I was forced to go to church. It was part of my culture. And we had a lot of stained glass. So I'm sure that's in my DNA. Very strongly imprinted.
And is this got a style? I mean, what do you
I call it prismatic.
Prismatic?
A lot of prisms.
Uh-huh.
It works for me.
Right.
And other artists have used it, but not quite this way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just get really bored with realism.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this building, for instance, worked out all right like this, but it's kind of boring.
Mm-hmm.
It's much more interesting to see how the colors shift down here in Wade Hall and Renault Hall.
Right. Right.
And when I get through, this quadrant will be darker than this.
Oh, okay.
That really makes it.
Because they're too similar right now, right?
Yeah. And all of this has got to be redone. When I'm up high on the scaffold, I have to paint like this and get tired very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Very exhausting.
And so that will become richer and more intense,
and
it's
corner's too green.
Right.
So I'll bring more of the tone of the building down here into it, and then I'll outline it stronger.
Right.
It'll be more severe.
Mm-hmm.
To balance this out. So I have to go through this.
Right. I see that, and that's where the other thing I see is that each not really a quadrant, but each component of the painting they do have pop colors.
Yeah.
And it has to have a pop color.
Yeah. It fascinates me as to how it fits together.
Mm-hmm. And it unfolds. It's not all planned.
It can be planned.
No.
Each thing is a phase. Mm-hmm. When I do the maquette, that's one phase. When I start drawing on this big white space, that's another phase. Very intimidating, very hard. And then when I start, the first color I put on was right here.
Really? Yeah, pot. The pot.
That sets the pace. I'll be stronger when I finish.
Mm-hmm.
But it's strong like this. I just redid this yesterday.
Yeah, it's pretty.
But then it begins to, so hopefully it'll all balance.
It will, and it is. Is that a fire pit right there?
Yeah, that's this pot sitting in the fire pit the way it cooked.
Oh, I see.
And see, here's the tree coming down here.
Right. I see that.
The trunk of it.
Oh,
So
I see.
That'll be picked up with this green, too. That's not finished.
Right.
But I wanted to see how it played out here before I put the green in. And then this green will be bordered in black.
Oh, I see. Right, because it's not yet.
So So those are that's really blocking. But once I get it all tomorrow, I hope I can block it so I can see where it's going. That's the exciting part. It's all exciting.
It's also exciting.
They're going to flip when they see it.
It's amazing, Nick. It really is. And I do. I enjoy seeing the development of the
Stages.
yeah. Pretty neat. Amazing. Very satisfying. And when you're in the flow, it's flowing.
Well, it just takes a lot of, like with anything else, you start something new, it takes a lot of nerve. Those early on comments the teachers made, like, well, the sky doesn't go to the ground. Look out there, where's the sky? It's not a strip across the top of it. You know, those things stick in kids' heads. So there's always voices talking to me, some of them louder than others. You know, when I was painting Globe Theater, people who know half timber construction would say, well, you haven't got the right braces in there. And that's going to be brighter too, those colors too. And so you have to deal with those voices, and then the voices of my experience. I've been to the Globe Theater. I did the drawing of the Globe on site. And I took the group from the School of Arts 4 years ago.
So that was actually in your sketchbook.
Yeah.
And then you just pulled it in.
And all that stuff in the School of Arts came right out of my sketchbook. Brooklyn Bridge out of my sketchbook. The West End out of the painting I did of the West End.
Right.
And I can do the Moravian buildings from memory because I've done them so many times.
Right. And the skyline. And then
Skyline, I've done it over and over and over and over. The Reynolds building got to be changed. It's too monochrome. It'll be changed. It'll have 3 shades rather than just one. All that kind of adjustment will come
Right. Oh, I see. Yes, I see it.
Those are just subtleties. It doesn't matter unless you get it right. When you get it right, then you say, hey, that's right. That's life. You see.
But it's the process of adding and enhancing, and then at some point it's right.
Yeah, I can feel it. The Oxford thing, I was really getting tired. And then all of a sudden one day I said, the damn thing's finished.
Really?
It looks good. Nothing else I can do.
Wow.
And I went down there last week and it really looks good in that room.
Really?
It just snaps.
I want to see it. Do you look up at it? Is it high?
Yeah, it's up. It's not down low. It's up. It's at about 3 or 4 feet. And it's a 30-foot ceiling.
Do you take that in consideration when you're doing them, or is it just?
Yeah. I take the scale is. This is looking down on it from the balcony.
Oh, wow!
It's a beautiful.
I see. Wow, that is stunning to be able to look down on it and up. That's amazing. So they interviewed you for.
I don't know what. I told them everything. I don't have an idea of your print. I just hope it didn't make the Oxford folks upset. I told them it was a great place to grow up. I didn't say it, but not a place I could live today.
No. And I think that's the whole.
It was a great place to grow up.
And I think that for each of us, that as we have those roots, you pull upon that going forward in everything that you've done.
Absolutely.
In the same way that I grew up in Indiana, and it was not a place that I would go back to and stay now. I couldn't. I've outgrown it.
Exactly.
And in the same way not necessarily outgrown it, but you've grown beyond.
Well, you have outgrown it. It's not you anymore.
Right. And likewise with Oxford.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't be who you are, and you wouldn't have accomplished what you did without it.
Exactly. I do feel sorry for the people who are stuck there. My mother used to say, she would sit in our living room and say, well, now who's going to live in this house when we're gone?
Really?
And not being as sweet as I should have been. I said, nobody. None of us want to live here, Mother. Frank doesn't want to live in Oxford. I'm not going to live in Oxford. And she was like, she didn't say anything else. She just had to compute that like, okay, I guess that's the end of that.
Mm-hmm. Who lives there now?
A girl that grew up across the street from us bought it. And she and her husband spent $150,000 on it. And we did the whole thing. But the house is still there. The house I grew up in, I can see it clearly. It didn't change the configuration. And now she has Alzheimer's, I hear.
Oh, really?
In bad shape. But anyway, that's who owns it now. She taught school, and she came from the wealthiest family in town across the street, and she wanted to stay in the neighborhood. So
really?
It's a small house. It just had 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, living room, dining room, den, sun porch, front porch, and a basement. I mean, it's not a big house. It's a servant's room. And
have you been back in it?
yeah, when they were redoing it.
Oh, you did?
I looked at it.
How did that go?
Well, it was, Mother, I said to the girl, Mary Jameson. The woman who painted my portrait in that age of 12 was Mary Jameson. This is her godmother.
Oh, really?
Namesake.
Okay.
I said, Mary, my mother would be tickled to death with what you've done here. Mother would be stunned. They put in one of these really super expensive kitchens with recessed lighting in the ceiling and all that kind of stuff. But anyway.
Mm-hmm. So it lives on, even though it's not you.
They made their bedroom that Frank and I shared bigger with a bay window into the garden in the back and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's preserved, and that's what we wanted.
Mm-hmm. Amazing life. That's where it started.
Yeah, I put my home in the other one.
In the one from Oxford. Yeah.
My house. This is the house I grew up in.
Uh-huh.
Let's see if we can see it. You can see this cover little thing. There's a whole section of houses in Oxford right now.
Right.
Okay,
You've been so prolific, Nick. I mean, you have the Oxford. I mean, just in the past year, the Oxford. Well,
I have no love life, and so I have to do something. It just was cut
well,
off.
you have to put your passions into
My love life was
path.
just cut down in the quick. It just left me
Mara, all he has is you.
high and dry, so I had to do something.
He
I
has
was losing
you.
my mind. And all these other women I found, I'm not interested in them. They don't turn me on. I mean, they're nice people, but
Well, it sounds like you've made the most of.
well, I'm doing the best I can, struggling along,
Isn't that what we do, though?
plodding along.
That's what we do.
I suppose. I wrote my friend Warren that just the other day.
That's what we do. That's the best that we can do, Nick.
I said, but you never know. I live in hope.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Stunning, beautiful. Our life is beautiful. Oh, and I see the ferns in the atrium here.
There's going to be more of those, and as soon as I get those colors right in that.
Mm-hmm.
atrium, then I'm going to make the ferns much more vigorous. It's just to give you an idea and a reminder. A lot of little subtleties.